Let's talk Wicked. First of all, it was almost 3 hours long, and I'm just gonna say it. No movie should be 3 hours long unless it's Avengers Endgame. I don't need to sit through almost 3 hours of anything unless I'm going to hear On Your Left. If that's not why I'm here, get me out of here. Get me out of here. Even though this movie was fantastic, I still almost fell asleep a couple of times. Because why are we in here so long? And it's not even a full story. This is just part one. Is part two gonna be almost 3 hours as well? Oh my goodness. Shannan Johnson here, CEO of The Professional Pen, where we develop screenwriters from I Did a Pitch. Need help on your screenplay? Go to www.theprofessionalpen.com. If you've been following, I've already done a couple of videos. One to talk about Ariana Grande because what? Two to talk about Cynthia because what? These women are doing their thing. Give them all of the things and all of the awards. Now it's time to talk about story. If any of you are on TikTok, then you may have heard the controversy in BookTok. After the election, a lot of people spoke about not wanting to talk about politics on BookTok. They only want to talk about books. This is the part where we realize that books are political. Why? Because reading is political. Why? Because knowledge is power. So if we take away books, we take away knowledge. That's one of the reasons that reading in itself and books in themselves are political. But on top of that, any book that you're reading that is even if it's a fantastical world, they are going to build systems within that world. Yeah. So a whole lot of people saw Wicked. A whole lot of people liked Wicked. But let's talk about where Wicked came from. Wicked is an adaptation of the Broadway musical, which is an adaptation of a book, which is based on the characters of another book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, right? So even though Oz is a made-up fictional place, there are still systems set up in this place. And if there are systems, there will be the oppressed. So if you watch this movie and you missed all of the themes that come from a book based on a book that went to a musical that now came to this film, you will realize that we as human beings have been dealing with these themes for centuries. These things are not new. How are we watching Wicked and feeling like they must have just made this in like the last couple of days? Because it relates so heavily with what we're dealing with right now. Yes? So, if you have not seen Wicked, spoiler alert, this is your chance to scroll. In Wicked, we not only have the popular versus unpopular, which makes you someone who doesn't belong. It makes you an outsider. It makes you other. So let's just talk about this particular layer. Elphaba is green. Therefore, she is othered. Therefore, any people who have ever felt othered for whatever reason can relate to her. Her being played by a black woman adds another layer. You know what I'm saying? We're not just seeing a green person, but we're also seeing her Afrocentric features underneath that green. We're seeing people be repulsed by her and all she's doing is existing. All she's doing is walking into a room and people are like, ugh. Which brings me to this point, and it really hit me, while I was watching the film. And so thematically, I also want people to realize how many people are followers. The only reason that Oz in itself can exist is because no one bumps up against the system. The only reason that people look down on Elphaba is because Galinda does. And as soon as Galinda says, you know what? I'm not gonna look down on her anymore, everyone else is like, you know what? Me neither. Followers. This just lets you know that if you are a leader, you have so much power and can really be the change. If you didn't get that from watching this film, there is bullying, there's all this stuff, sure, whatever. And obviously it's fictionalized, and obviously, everything was sped up because it might not have happened overnight like that if this was real life. But simply because she decided to be open and have grace, so did everybody else. So if there's ever anything happening like that around you, are you gonna be the coward? Are you the follower? Or are you the leader? What are you gonna do? The other theme is there are talking and walking animals in this world of Oz. So y'all are okay with the talking animals, but being green is too far. Okay, I got it. But these animals there's some kind of reversal happening that's stopping them from being able to speak and be more human-like. Elphaba has taken on trying to free these animals, trying to figure out what's going on with them. She gets to Oz, who is also a big fat lie, and realizes that she could go there and ask for something for herself, but instead she decides to ask for something that can be helpful to others. And because she decides to do that and go against what the wizard wants her to do, because everybody else in Oz has been following, she decides, no, we're not going to do it this way, which makes her a leader, which he doesn't like, and that's why she's seen as wicked. He turns her into the bad guy, which also happens in real life. That's why a lot of people choose not to step out on that ladder to be the leader, because they know if you put yourself in that spotlight, they will try to make you look like the bad guy, Malcolm X. They will try to make you look like the bad guy, Black Panthers. They won't talk about the fact that you are reacting. They will just see that you are in opposition of what they want, and then they will put you in the bad box and then turn everyone else, followers, into believing that you actually are bad. This is why she is the Wicked Witch. So this is an origin story. And I loved watching the monkeys get their wings, because they'll eventually be on her side. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see where that goes in part 2. Now, what we do know is that you get the full story in the musical, and we only got half of it in the film, even though they're about the same length in time. So on the musical, they figured out how to give you everything under 3 hours. So I'm sure you've seen Wicked. Drop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Happy writing. And that's it. Want more content? Like, subscribe, and for notifications. Get notes on your script that get you unstuck at www.theprofessionalpen.com. I'm out.